Pictures aren't necessary now.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna. I know it takes a second, but I'm just on the replay. People are already here, so I'm
But
gonna
you,
start saying my hellos.
but you want me to pull the pictures up, right?
Not
Right?
at this current time. We're gonna be
Oh
going
no, no,
through
I
the
know.
ceremony,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and then when we're doing the ceremony, I thought that if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I
No,
just
no,
thought
I
visual
can, I
aids
can,
might be useful for people who are new, and might
I can
help us
do it.
more powerfully link to what we're doing.
Yeah, I can do them. I just wanted to make sure that's what you were saying. That's all.
Yeah, I'm flexible. There's really no pressure here, right? Because we're here in love and peace and joy with our friends to,
Yeah,
join together. At
absolutely.
the exact time of solstice to
Is
offer
it?
our collective energies, to call forth our own personal ascension, but also, after we've done that, to recognize our role as co-creators here on this beautiful planet and to come together and use our, complementary and mixed skill sets and our mixed vibrations to send some extra love and light, direct some energy into the Earth's grid system and see what happens. So I see our friends are coming. So hi, everyone. Welcome. Hi, Todd.
Hello, how you doing? I'm hanging on for dear life here. I feel like I'm on the cosmic roller coaster. Actually, it's not a roller coaster. It's more like a missile,
I
like a
feel like a
rocket.
small child. I feel giddy. I have been this way. I mean, of course, there are moments of purging. So I guess I don't even like that word. I'm going to erase that word. So, yeah. So I guess, so welcome everybody to our solstice ceremony. For those of you who are new to the work, it is great to have you here. So the format, before we get too far into it, the format for today is as follows. I'm going to do a quick hello with Todd, just a quick commentary on the current energies, what we can expect in the coming days, how we can align with it, Then we're going to go through the ceremony. So there's a personal dedication, and then there's also a planetary focus. And so I'll say it then, but I'll say it now. As the person who is facilitating this ceremonial space, when we are doing the ceremony, I will direct energy into and through your system and your timelines. If you want that, I will help support and magnify your effort. If you prefer to do this on your own, as I know that many masters do, I respect that. So all you have to do is just state that in your energy field, and I would certainly, that's consent, and that is a boundary. So hi, Todd.
Hi, Katie. How are you doing? How's Eastern Canada? How's the solstice? How's Damien? And it's a very, very powerful, beautiful, wonderful day.
It is. So I'm well. I've been out all day long. I'm just working, contributing my light to the effort that is, the Planetary Ascension Project. I had a conversation with Jason last night.
Oh, really?
Yes. And when he said something that I really liked, and he was like, I'm not, and I was, we're not here in service anymore. We finished our work. Our missions are done. We're free agents now. We're here to create. And so it's a completely different relationship. I woke up this morning, I felt like a child. I did my personal dedication and ceremony, and then I immediately went outside. And I anchored a lot of energy and did a lot of work that I'm going to share with you in this ceremony today. And then I also had a 2-hour nap, and very luckily my brother showed up and woke me up, because I guess I forgot to set the alarm, and I never sleep more than 40 minutes. I could have slept straight through this ceremony, my friends. So thanks to my brother for coming to wake me up from my really glorious nap.
That's interesting what you said. Jason said I had exchanged messages with him yesterday. He'd been off the internet, but when I got up this morning and I was getting ready for the first show, I was actually in the bathroom trying to get washed up and everything, and I got this revelation, which is exactly what he's saying, and I just want to mention it, and it was in regard to me, in regard to the people that I work with, like you. I received that you've done your work. The work is done. It's not gonna. It doesn't look like it has in the past. It's not about coming out and then writing a book and then people find it years later and all that stuff. This is a quantum dimensional experience, and we've already done the work, and it's time to relax and enjoy. And it's a whatever he said, whatever you were saying. It's
Well, and I
exact
mean,
same. Yeah.
And I think that that's a big part of what this ceremony is about in the first part, right? Is the timelines where we live like that are open. And so what is happening is that a mass migration of human consciousness is awakening. So we're seeing that all around, and I'm going to touch back on that in a moment. But so what is happening right now really is that a whole lot of people are, and that's part of what this is for, is to call forth your connection to that reality. I mean, we are in a moment. So people talk about solstice, right? It's not just, there's a galactic meaning to solstice that is much more than what we have been sharing a lot about, and now that we are ready to start going deeper into this. I mean, we had 11/11, which was the beginning of this cycle, kind of like the trigger kind of point of what we're executing right now, right? And then we had 12/12. And then we've had, they've been punctuated by very powerful meteor showers and solar, and, we've also had, stellar alignments. Right now, we are in alignment with Galactic Center. We are also in alignment with the opening of the Venus Stargate. And so that was the one where the 12-strand DNA project, that's how we got here. A lot of the carriers of the 12-strand DNA project that initially came down to planet Earth to seed this into humanity, to put this into the blueprint, we came during that time. And so a lot of the reason, people talk about Christ and Christmas, I mean, you can have your opinions about that, but one of the reasons why you'll see cultural traditions that recognize similar stories over and over again is, there was more than just him. There was a whole bunch of us, and probably a whole bunch of people that connect to this work are connected to that. It's the whole point of it is it's not an elite crew. It's an everyone thing. And we've managed to get it into the, what I mean? Like, it's in the human DNA spectrum right now. And so all of this stuff that's been happening that I just lifted off has been gradually bringing us to a point where we are getting higher in vibration, higher in vibration, higher in vibration. There are loads of light workers all around the world who completed major missions. The new Earth spectrum experience is ready. And so we're basically doing it now. And this is an invitation to migrate over it. And also, when we get to the planetary service part of this, we're also going to call forth the highest vibrational alignments of that trajectory that we can. And we're going to, embed peace, love, and harmony as vibrational experiences through which people will experience this process. Because, a lot of people now are waking up, and people who were very deeply asleep, it's having a lot of impacts on the lives of people around us. In my life also. So, my mom had some stuff come up in her health this week. She, I'm not going to disrespect her privacy because I don't know how she'd feel about me sharing her personal details. So I won't go any further than that. But she had things come up in her health that are directly related to this wave, and I've been looking around me and I see a lot of people who are experiencing extreme sickness. There are a lot of people who are passing away, a lot of animal companions transitioning. But, a lot of people are experiencing this transition in ways that are physically uncomfortable. And, one thing that I did want to say before we get started is I wanted to send some love to the people who are in those situations right now. And I want to, I'm going to totally cry saying this, whenever I found out what was going on, so I went into my soul and I connected to my mom's soul with her permission. And I was like, okay, what's going on? What can I do here? What can we do? What is the lesson? What can we shift? How do we make this work? And the very clear lesson that I saw was, this is the moment that my family really wakes up. This moment of her getting that sick and going through what she's going through right now is the catalyst for a completely different kind of awareness for them. And just as I was getting ready for this show, my father texted me. And he just said, have you been working on Mom? She's had a couple of really good days. And I said, yeah, Dad, since the moment we got off the phone. And it goes to something you said a couple times now, and that is that you don't need to say a whole lot. The understanding is just there all of a sudden. Yeah. And I think that one of the most powerful things that we as people of the light have to offer is that we can do this in these situations. We can, it's not doing things for people, but it's being there. It's being ready to help them see the bigger picture. And it's being, sensitive and compassionate and loving and understanding that this is part of it. And so even you know, in some parts of what is happening. Like awakening as a process is very difficult sometimes, you know, it feels like your whole world is getting shaken up, but it's that shake that gives you, hi Damien, come on up. It's that shake that gives you, you know, that opening to the new reality. And so, you know, that's happening right now a lot. It's going to happen even more. And I just did, before getting into things, wanted to just say that, you know, send a lot of love out to the people who are experiencing that, because I know there's quite a few. Come on.
Thank you. It's kind of like that saying, I'm going to love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and
Hey,
I mean,
Damien.
you know, sorry.
Damien's being, where's he at?
He's standing here, standing on top of my crystals. You know,
Hey,
and so that's, you know, the beautiful thing about life is like, okay, so we are all people who have been on this ascension path for a while now, which means we have been in ascension school. You know, we know how to help, you know, we know how this works by virtue of the fact that we have experienced it. And so, you know, I'm grateful to be here and to be able to provide this insight and to be able to connect people to this process. And I'm glad to co-create with you, you know, and so, yeah. Damien's here.
And Damien too.
So do you have anything you need to say before we get going?
No, but I was not too much. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm just feeling everything, but I was out a couple nights ago, and since I've been over here, I don't recognize the stars the way I have in other places. And so I came out a couple nights ago, and there was this big blue star. I thought, well, that's got to be a planet or something. So I pulled out that app. You know, I downloaded that app, and I looked over there, and it was Lyra. So I thought it was significant. And Damien just reminded me of that. So, and Damien has come for a third time. He came like 3 nights ago in my dream state with his gang, with his posse.
He loves you.
Yeah. He just came in for a little bit. He just poked his head in. It's like, hey, what's up?
He says he's laying. He says he's going to help us with this. And so he wants everybody who has animal companions in the room to join in. And so without further ado, I am ready to begin delivering this ceremony. I feel like we are settled in. I feel like we've had the updates. We'll say maybe a word or two more about ascension at the end of this, and then we'll get back to resting, integrating, creating, loving, living, sleeping, crying, puking, whatever it is that we're doing, because this is powerful. Right? Damien says snuggling. We'll be snuggling. That's what I'll be doing. Cuddling my cat. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's funny, right? Like, cause I always write my ceremonies, but then I very rarely actually do what I say I'm gonna do. So Damien, you have to let me sit. He's very upset that I just did that. He doesn't understand how you have to have a certain flow of energy through your body position to do a ceremony, and so he likes a certain flow through his body position, which is primary interest here in Cat's world. Okay, so I'm gonna get everybody to begin getting ready to connect themselves and begin the anchoring process. If you've never joined in on this before, you are so welcome. I talk a lot to guide people through, so you'll definitely know what's going on. So happy solstice. Me, Katie IndiCrow. And I stand in front of you with my full heart to share tidings of peace and joy and love, and congratulations on a job well done. And to issue a major, huge thank you to all of you for all the work that you have done this month, this year, this lifetime, and in particular this week, as we have been getting closer and closer to this moment where we begin feeling the extended wave of connection of extremely high vibrational photonic light entering through our energy systems and activating us for our Christed timeline experiences. And so for some of us, this is going to be, you know, a pretty exciting experience. It's the first time you feel energy in your body. For some of us, this is something that we have been waiting for, or well, not waiting, we have been working on for a really long time. And so I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us. And so the reason why I call it solstice and not winter or summer solstice, right, is because we don't operate That is just one half of the world. And so one of the things that I love so much about this season is that what it does is it really asks us to integrate our parts, to go into and think about our balance, and to invite and embrace our darkness and moving it into and expressing it through the light. And so as I talk, what I'm doing is I'm beginning to bring us all into a crystal chamber. And this is happening astrally. And so what we're doing is we are beginning to connect to the crystalline core of Gaia and calling forth high vibrational energy from the galactic center or Solaris or source, whichever your primary vehicle is. And what you're doing as I talk is you're charging up your body. So if you zoom into the level of the collective of this group, what you see is a whole bunch of people at different places all over the world. And you're all different colors, right? Because what's really special about moments like this is you're not here to be bossed around by somebody like me. That's not what ceremony is anymore, not this kind. What we're here for is to recognize our unique energetic signatures, to call forth our unique skill sets, and really to just be who we are. And so there are some of you who are ready to do more advanced shifting and aligning as I begin doing this. I asked you to get aligned before this ceremony, so you can work with me in the astrals while we do that. I'm communicating with those of you who are ready at that level. I will give some verbal cues here. For those of you who are brand new, you just focus on your color. So what we're going to do right now is as this energy is moving through, I'm going to begin telling you a story. And it's a little bit of something that I referred to at the beginning of this session. And it has a lot to do with, the sun. It has to do with Venus. It has to do with the Stargate. And it has to do with the activation of the Christed DNA. So you will notice that there's all kinds of sacred sites that are built around the world. And so these sites are, connected in such a way so as to harness the sun. Many of them are in the sun and alignments on particularly this date. Many of these sacred sites are connected to what are called sun disks. These sun disks, among other things, are connected to the intricate crystal system of the earth, including the crystal beds in Arkansas. And what they are doing in moments like this, and what we have used this ceremonially for in times past, is to call forth energy into and through these very specific points to power up the sun disks, and in some cases also to connect ourselves with alignments in other parts of the galaxy, bringing that energy into Earth. So we have Chichen Itza right here. This is one of them. If you wanted to just, if we want to go back to just me for a minute, I'll come back to this. We've got some pictures, so we're going to come back to this in a minute. First, I want to focus on us. And so what happens and why we did this? Why would this something be so important? Because throughout time and history and throughout, the interconnections of our lives on Earth, many of us have been participants in projects of helping to stabilize and light up and turn on. And some of us have even tried to do this ascension thing before. And so one of the reasons why I like to host us all together for ceremony is that so many of us are going to connect to so many of these different sites. So many of us come from so many different places that we are able to layer the experiences, the knowledge, and the vibration of all of the different efforts, unite them together, and make that the hallmark of the vibration of this one, this trajectory that we are here creating now. And so one thing that I think is interesting to note is the relationship of Venus to this moment. And so a lesser known story that people talk about when they talk about sacred sites alignments is that Sites are also aligned to stars and planets too. And interestingly enough, Solstice and Venus line up really well together. And so what does Venus have to do about this? Well, Venus, as many of us know, is the planet of love. It offers us that vibration. So many of you can feel the energy of Venus coming through you now. As I talk about it, we're shifting it in. And so if you want to bring the energy of Venus down through your column, what we're doing here is we're activating you to your highest vibration. So as I started out, before we did the ceremony, I talked a little bit about Venus and Jesus and the stargates, and how there was a lot more than just Jesus, and how one of the big ways that we were working on creating ascension was that a whole bunch of us were like, let's get this thing in our bloodstream, let's get this in our energy pattern, let's get this on the planet, and let's spread it like wildfire. And so we took our tribes and we went to all corners of the earth, and we had children, and we lived our lives, and we did our jobs. And so it's no coincidence, that this is one of the most powerful times of the year. The other one being oftentimes Lionsgate, and that's all Sirius. Well, not all, but it's, supported by Sirius. And right now, we are having a major influx of the Venusian energy that is coming and being complemented by and highlighted by the rays and the alignments of the sun. And what that is doing is helping to really stimulate the 12-strand awakening DNA process. And 12-strand plus, for those who are ready, that is rippling through the masses now. So, as you're connecting to Venus, one of the things that's, interesting to think about, right, is that if we connect back to that planet, we allow ourselves to activate those star codes. And so I invite everybody who is ready to call forth their 12-strand plus DNA activations and expansions. I'm going to continue. So basically, I'm acting in this moment with Damien, and you're supporting very nicely, Todd. Thank you. Your system's working really well. So what we're doing is we're broadcasting that Stargate's energy directly to you now. And so I can feel those of you in the astrals who are doing the other work starting to conduct the star energy into the sites. Offering, I feel a lot of Aldebaran going on. I feel some Canis. Excellent work. So I can feel Pleiadian stuff, Sirius. I can feel different star groups popping online and offering contributions of DNA code activations, connecting back the knowledge of the one. I'm shaking on the inside. I've never been shaking like this doing this before. This is fun. This is so awesome. How are you feeling, brother? I'm gonna hold this. How you doing in there?
Big ass ditto.
This is awesome. Everybody, have a drink of water.
Yeah.
Water is our friend.
111 people in the house. It's 3 shows in a row. We went over 100 today.
It's because this is a heart-based frequency that is going to help build this planet, that is going to help maintain it, that is going to help us offer the support to our brothers and sisters, one another. This doesn't have to be an isolating activity that we go through alone. And, this whole thing about just talking about it. So why does this kind of ceremony work? This isn't the only kind of work I do. But what this works is basically you're all in a crystal chamber with me, and we're broadcasting the truth codes that activate your connection to your own personal truth. And very purposely working with the star alignments that are being gifted to us, or that we have aligned ourselves with over centuries and lifetimes of creation, and just letting the work that so many of us have done for so long finally come together and do its job. This works because we did a great job collectively to maintain this, to create this, to power this. And this wouldn't be working if a whole lot of people hadn't done their stuff right now. There is no fast forward graduation to where we got here because we earned it. And I hope that, I know that a lot of people, as they're going through this, you're feeling it. I can feel you expanding. So I'm going to just bring in some cosmic heart. And I'm going to help just balance your energy out for those of you who are ready. I know this is intense, right? This is the highest spectrum of vibration we've ever invited in. And so just keep that in mind when you're feeling it, okay? Lay, sleep, run, dance, play, eat chocolate, do what you got to do. Pet cats, Steven says. yes, actually connect with your animal friends and remember that they're going through this too, but that they can also help you. So I think that we're ready now. I can feel people going. So we've got in the sun. People have been connected to the Solaris energy, running that around. We're using that to hyperpower the Venusian star codes. We've got all of the other intersections coming forward that are ready. So now what we're going to begin doing is connecting into our own personal timelines. Just do this first, you know. So on a personal level, everyone, now that you just adjusted, envision yourself back in your crystalline core in an energy pathway. And in your mind, in your heart, in your body, allow yourself to begin to connect to that crystalline pathway that will be the one that you walk on this earth. Visualize yourself beginning to feel what it's like to move towards that. Take steps, begin pulling it towards you. And step on that path. And allow its energy to envelop you completely. And rippling throughout all that you've ever been and done, all that you ever thought, all that you have seen, and all that will come to you as you walk it. Be brave enough, my brothers and sisters, to keep walking this path and using the energy that is open to us for the next 10 to 12 days to make a superpowered hyper adjustment. You can do that. You can come back to this a couple times if you want to. I can feel a lot of solar plexus stuff going. People are like, whoa, release, release. Yes, guys, this can be a fun thing. This plan is actually awesome. It doesn't suck to do this. It's not supposed to. I mean, it did for a while, let's be real. But we're healing from that. And a lot of that is just, you know, accepting that peace thing that we did a couple weeks ago. It's like letting that peace come in. Stop expecting this to be terrible. Start creating the space for it to be good. Are we ready to move on to the next part? So what I want to do is, now that we have gotten connected, now we'll do the pictures. If you're ready for that.
Yeah. Hang on.
Oh, you know what? I don't think we need them. What do you think? Do we need the pictures or not? What's your feeling?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Whatever you think.
I think no. I think we'll go back to this. I think people need to work on the astral game, so we'll stay with this.
Yeah,
so
we're good.
All right. So now that we've personally dedicated ourselves, we've activated our Venusian stuff, but not necessarily just Venus. That was just the crystal stargate. Now that we've connected to our crystal timelines, now that we have begun walking on our crystal path, let's unite and do a little work for this planet. That's my favorite part. Okay, so back to the stuff I was talking about earlier. Let's all connect back into the crystalline core again. This group that we're working with is getting stronger. Hey, can you notice how much faster we snap in every time lately? That's because practice. People are practicing.
Yeah. We're
going to get really powerful over the years. You know, like together we are going to be ushering in some pretty magnificent change. This is a very humble beginning. I mean, it feels amazing now, but like 4 or 5 years, we're never going to look back at this and be like, oh, that felt like a mosquito bite. You know? So we're back in the crystalline core. I'm going to stand in the middle. And I'm going to start turning on the extended crystal systems. They're going to act as our generators for this. So I'm going to ask everybody that does that to join me now, please. And so if everybody begin calling forth the highest vibration into your energy body that you can handle, and begin doing the column of light exercise that we've been practicing. So you're connecting to the crystalline core and you're taking the highest rate of ascension energy you can throughout your energy system. You're connecting it to the primary ascension timeline for Earth. Well, I guess it's the ascension creation timeline now because we're all on the same one. So I have to change my dialogue. We're on the ascension creation timeline for Earth and we're connecting our highest vibration into that now. So basically what we're doing is we're taking the timeline, like we just did, like that crystal pathway for ourselves. We're now doing this for the earth. Because that's part of our job now. Okay, so everybody's charging up. I'm going to start magnifying the power. I'm going to ask everybody else who has this ability to do the same. And I'm going to start connecting with intention and purpose to some sites. So I'm going to say some names. So the first one that we're going to connect to, and what we're going to do is basically just envision a whole lot of spectrum, big, huge, all this energy that we can muster coming in and down and through the site, all the way in and through to the crystals that it's connected to and activating its points on the earth. So we're going to first go to Chichen Itza. If everybody breathe in, and take the light down as we breathe out. Feels cool, eh? So now we're going to go to Connacht, France. And this one wants to be a swirl, so we swirl the wind. Very swirly, everyone. And then we go to Newgrange in Ireland. I'm going to be calling in the sun and Venus. And so this motion is like a pull forward and then V down. Triangle. So it's like you pull it forward from the two sources and then you make a triangle with your body down. I can't wait till we're in person doing this all the time, because like seriously, a lot of how I move through this on my own is just dancing. Like I talk, but it's a lot of dancing. Can you imagine how fun this is going to be when we're dancing together? Okay, so we're there. Where else do I need to go? We are going to go to Omagh, which is in Alberta, Canada. It's a medicine wheel. So it's like a dolmen at the top. And I connect to one of my main stomping grounds, which is Lake Louise, Emerald Lake in Alberta and British Columbia. We're going to connect to them at the same time. So it's like two mountains. I guess you can't see my hands. I'm like, my hands are like way out on the side. You can't see them. So anyway, imagine that it was like mountain hands far away. So just stand as a mountain hands and pulling the energy in and through yourself and in, down and through the mountains. And then we're going to go to the Arkansas crystal beds. We're going to go underground to get there through the mountains. So, whoop. Some of you might be flying with some dragons right now. This is how we travel down here. And now we're just going to light up those crystal beds. Watch my cat. Oh, that's what that was for. Okay. And so for those of you who participated in the peace activity, I was talking about Christmas Island in Kiribati. And there's a huge, it's an atoll and it's all coral. And there were certain sun codes that were planted there at the beginning of 12/12 and certain other days that we're being called to go forward there and activate now. So focusing on a place called Christmas Island. Kiribati. And then the other one, which is on the other side, they create like Indonesia's kind of in the middle. So now that all of that has been done, let's just say, let's connect back in together again, all of our beautiful places that we are all around the world. Form our network of light. Intend that all places that we've ever, offered service, love, alignment, help, gratitude, whatever, now becomes a conduit point for the influx of this energy. And that those places that are ready continue to do so now and in the coming days. So the final activity, we're going to get into our highest vibration again. Everybody join me. Back to your crystals. Your safe spots, your power places. Start linking up to that power that we just created. That energy. See us almost like a light bug, it begins. And we begin pulsing light. Aiming at the sun disks in the center of the earth, radiating them out. We'll do 4 breaths of radiation, the light. So in. So in is charge, and breathing out is bringing it, pushing it into the earth. So we charge. We push it into the earth. We charge. We push it in the earth. One more. We charge. And we push it in the earth. Whoa. Can you feel that pulsing? This is part of the wave. You all know what that means? So it's time now to begin coming back into our bodies, back into our hearts, and beginning to allow ourselves to release the energy that we were just holding. I'm going to start bringing in some soothing and grounding, calming. I guess it's more calming and balancing, right? Begin offering that to connect people. So maybe you want to do a little movement. Me and Daphne, whoa, that was huge. So just bringing in that movement and coming back to this place where we are here on planet Earth at the most amazing time that we have ever imagined or been able to see. And not only are we here, but we are living it and creating it. We have the reasons it's happened, it's happening, and we're going to continue on in love and peace, now and always. And so I invite you to join me in setting the intention that we move forward on this ascension journey in the highest vibrational path of co-creation that we can. We call forth a beautiful season of loving lessons and positive vibrational growth. Call forth the wisdom and the grace to act in peace, the ability to find joy in our lessons, and heck, a lot of love and fun. And so I'm going to begin formally disconnecting my energy body from this ceremonial situation. And begin getting ready to disconnect. So some words of love is that this was a really high vibrational moment, right? People probably gonna, like, my lips are so chapped right now from that. So, sleeping, eating, taking care of yourself, and understanding that this is not even probably the apex moment. That's going to come in like 2 to 4 days. And so we are still in the middle of this. Please feel free to return to this at any time, but in particular over the coming days, because one cannot pump too much light into themselves or to the earth's plates. Do you have anything you need to say before we begin disconnecting?
No, I'm good. We just went right through the solstice, which was
that was the plan.
That was perfection.
We did that. We were part of that, everyone. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah.
And I know that there are a lot of you who couldn't be here for whatever reason live, but your astral selves came to play. Yeah. I just want to say that I'm really happy with the progress that we're making as a community, because, the reason I started Love Wave and the reason I've been wrote the book Connecting In, and the reason I've been doing all the public education on grid work stuff is like, this is not necessarily grid work. This is ceremony, and it's very important that we get good as a group at doing stuff like this. Not everybody's going to be drawn to the same kind of task, but if this is kind of what you like, we can expand more and more and more, and we will, in the kinds of things that we work on and the experiences that we have together. And it's just a matter of giving ourselves the time and the space to grow, which we are. So I'm good to go. Are you good, brother?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm going to be horizontal very quick.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for showing up. I look forward to hearing your comments about the ceremony. Please feel free to share any insights or things you saw on the main page or in the event page. I love hearing how it was. And I look forward to continuing on with all of you in the coming days. I'll be around doing Facebook Lives, doing community calls. I gave up a trip so that I'd be able to be more present for the collective, because that is my joy and my pleasure. So much love to you all.
For that.
Thanks,
You take
brother.
care. Peace out. Love you.